I've been alive for 23 years on this planet, and for, I'd probably say a majority, definitely say a majority of those years, I've known something's wrong with me. I've never really known what, never really been able to put my finger on it, but I've always known something's just off. Something in my brain is just not right, wired incorrectly, or somewhere along the line something got messed up. And the older I get, the more prevalent it becomes. And beside from that, the more I learn about myself and my family, and the more it starts to make sense that I'm not just crazy, that there is just something wrong with me, that there always has been something wrong with me. And that's not really a bad thing per se, but I've come to the conclusion many times now, but especially in these later years, that I need help. I need to do something to help myself or get some professional help or something. Something's got to change, you know. I don't know. Maybe I can change it myself. I've tried for a long time and I've made progress in some ways in some capacity, but things just always kind of loop back to the same feeling of something about me, something in my head, something in my brain is just not right. Something is just wrong. And I've learned a lot about myself and my family from talking to them and growing up, and they finally decide to share things with me, you know. But even growing up, I always just knew something, something's missing, something ain't right. You know, I grew up as kind of a sad kid, to be honest, and I felt like I always had reasons for it. I always had some excuse as to why I feel the way I feel for so strongly for so long. You know, when I was young, my best friend, really my only friend for a long time, moved away in like third grade or something. He moved across the city, started going to a new school. It was before I had a phone or anything, so contact was just done and over for the most part. I mean, we would hop on and play some video games here and there when we had time, but most of my days are at school, surrounded by strangers, and I'm not very social, so I wasn't great at just making friends. So, bam, there's a reason. I'm sad because I miss my friend. Sure, that makes sense, whatever. And then, you know, you can't be sad about that forever. You grow up and move on. So, why am I still sad? Well, maybe it's because the girl I like doesn't like me or something. You know, there's always a reason as to why I could be sad, why I could feel the way I feel. But then I'm older now and I think back all my life. I think back to all these things and I wonder what really had me down that whole time, all those years. Why was I so sad in the emptiness of my bedroom? Why was I so empty and alone feeling all the time? It can't be just that cut and dry of whatever I think or thought was bothering me. I knew somewhere in the back of my head, I knew that that wasn't what really was wrong, wasn't what really was bothering me. I never knew what it was. I suppose I still really don't know exactly what it is, not officially by any means. But you know, I think about my brother, my closest brother, 2 years apart. And when we were young, he got diagnosed with ADD because he had so much trouble paying attention in class. He would space off and stare at the walls and had bad grades. He wouldn't do his homework, etc., etc. But I was fine, or at least on the surface level, I was fine. You know, I did my work. I got good grades for the time that I would go to school, which turned out to not be a lot, but you know, nothing to really bat an eye at. We all just assumed it was medical problems, and that's partially my own fault because when I had the chance to try to break it down and try to discover what could be going on in my head, I turned away, I lied, and got my way out of it because I spent a lot of time on academic probation for missing so much school. Spent many, many years on probation. And at one point or another, because all the doctor's tests were coming back with nothing, and, you know, we couldn't find answers as to why I didn't want to go to school. I'm sure if I thought long and hard enough about it, or maybe just admitted to myself, I could give you a real reason as to why. Maybe that's what I'm doing right now. Maybe I am giving you that reason as to why. Maybe it's just because I've been sad for a long time, or maybe not even just sad, but something has been wrong for a long time. And I never cared to give any deeper thought because I didn't want to be another problem child on my parents, you know? I didn't want to, I mean, I already was. I was already causing problems with having to go in and out of the doctor all the time and probation meetings and court hearings and, I was already problematic the way I was. And I guess I just didn't care to figure out anything more. I just, you know, everybody said I was sick. It was easier to just be sick. It was easier to just keep going to the doctor and keep dealing with it until one day I something changed, I guess. I started going back to school. I got off probation, etc., whatever. Not the point of the story today. The point of the story today is that something's been wrong, as I keep repeating, and we knew something was wrong with my brother from a long time ago, when we were little kids. Well, maybe not little kids, but for a long time, we knew my brother had some issues, to put it differently, I guess. Um, a mental health problem, or I don't know, is ADD really a mental health problem, disability, symptom? I don't know what you want to classify it as, but I was not ignored by any means, but nobody really cared to look at my mental health and my well-being. And granted, like I said, that's mostly my own fault. I had a chance. I had a therapist, a court-ordered therapist that I was supposed to see, and I remember I went to one meeting with said therapist, and I sat there and I talked about my dog at the time. That was it. Just talked about my dog for a while, and I remember leaving the building, getting into the car with my dad, and telling him I never want to go back again. I don't ever want to see that guy. I don't ever want to go to therapy. I don't need it. My stomach hurts. That's all. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I just have stomach problems, you know? And I think back now and I realized that that was a mistake, you know? I should have just stuck it out. I should have just let the therapist do their job, figure me out, break me down, discover whatever's going on inside my head, and in a simple way, fix me, just help me fix whatever is going on in my head, you know? But I was young. I wasn't the brightest kid. I didn't really care enough about myself to want to know what might be going on deeper inside my head, you know? I didn't really plan to be helped or fixed or anything because I kind of just thought one day in the future I'll just disappear from existence. I wouldn't have to deal with any of those problems when they catch up to me because I wouldn't be here to deal with it. I thought, with the way my life was headed for such a long time, the downward spiral that I turned it into, I, to put it bluntly, was just going to take the easy way out of it all at some point. And then everything changed in high school. And now I'm older. Hello. I'm older, and that's not the case. There is no easy way out. wouldn't want to. Never really did want to. It was just a kind of only option type of thinking at the time for a long time. And that's depressing to say. It's depressing to admit to, but what do I care? Point being, I keep getting older and I recognize things in myself and things in my family and in my parents, and we talk and we share stories and nice. We share stories and we talk about the past, and I realize that my problems come from somewhere. It's not all just in my head to a degree. I mean, it is because it's, mental related, but it's the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I talk to my mom and I hear about her traumatizing childhood of abuse from her mother or my grandma, things we never would have guessed, especially with the relationship that they had all of our life. I never would have expected my mom to have grown up in an abusive household. And we keep getting older, and I hear stories from my dad about how him and my mom would have these crazy, crazy arguments, and things would get thrown. My mom would throw things because my mom kind of grew to be a bit um, abusive, I suppose, to put it simply. Not the type that she was like beating up me and my brothers or anything of that sort, but when she would get angry, she would get emotional. It was uncontrollable. She could not get a grip on herself. And come to find out, it's because she has bipolar disorder and anxiety and depression and all these other mental health related issues. And she discovered all this when I was still a little child, I believe. If I'm remembering the story correctly, my mom checked herself into a mental hospital because she was afraid that she was going to do something to me and my brother because she couldn't get a control of her emotions, and things between her and my dad were always pretty, well, I shouldn't say always pretty rocky, but they've been divorced since I can remember. So their marriage had problems, and I don't know. I guess I look back now, I look at all these things, all these stories I hear, all the problems that we've all dealt with, my brothers, me, my mom, my dad, all of our issues, all of our, vices, our faults, our everything. And I realized that there's answers to all of them. There's answers for the way we are. We are the way we are for reasons, I guess is an easier way to put it. And yet, knowing all of this light or all of these issues that run through my family, all the mental health problems, the depression, the anxieties, the ADD in my brother, and yet here I am. I just have stomach aches. There's nothing deeper going on. There's no reason to dig under the surface. There's no reason to try and find any other answer. If he says his stomach hurts, and this is this is true. I am old enough to admit that it's my own fault. By no means am I blaming my parents for ignoring the signs or ignoring the whatever, ignoring me, ignoring my mental health. By no means is it my parents' fault. I didn't want them to. I didn't want them to know. I didn't want to admit to myself that things were wrong, that things felt wrong, that I felt incomplete or just something, I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't want myself to know. I thought that if I just kept it in, kept it quiet for long enough, it would just pass in time, or like I said before, I'd be gone and not have to deal with it, and I wouldn't have to be a burden on anybody to deal with it for me or with me or whatever, you know. But it's not the case, you know. It's sad, not sadly. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be working to build a life that I want to live. You know, that's that's the ultimate goal, is to be happy with your existence, to be proud of the life that you've put together. At least I think that's the ultimate goal, one of the ultimate goals. We have to be on this planet for a reason. Gotta do something about it, and I don't think I'm gonna be solving world hunger or curing cancer anytime soon, so at least I can try to build a life I want to live instead of living in misery for years and years to come. That's no way to live. I've done that for a long time in my childhood, and I guess at 23 years old now, I realized that I need help. I want help. I want to fix myself. I want to change my ways. I want to be better. I want to be happier, I suppose. You know, I don't want to I don't want to struggle the way my mom did, the way my dad does, because he he knows he's got problems that he won't get help for or admit to, or he likes to make his little jokes here and there about how he should probably be in a mental hospital or depression this or whatever, but he's not gonna ever actually go talk to a therapist. And I mean, I can't really blame him. It takes time, it takes money, it takes energy, and you know, he's I don't know. I can't speak for him. I can't speak for his decisions, but I'm young and trying to pick up the pieces that I feel I've been letting drop for a long time now. I'm trying to do right by myself, do right for myself before it's too late to do something, I suppose. I think that's a good way to look at it, you know. I I don't know what I need to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, especially at my current state in life with being unemployed and broke and etc. But we keep our heads up. We keep balling. It's never over until it's over, right? So we just keep going. We keep striving. Maybe I will get myself into therapy somehow. Get myself a mental health evaluation or something, and get on some medication or something to try to right some of the wrongs I feel like I've done to myself for so many years. So much ignoring and fighting, and not fighting in a good way, but fighting myself to ignore, fighting myself to hide my problems from everyone around me and myself included. You know, I need to right the wrongs of my past in a way, right the wrongs that I've done to myself. Just, I need help. I need to change. I need to do something about it before there's nothing to be done, you know? Can't go on suffering forever. You can't live your life in misery. It's not worth anything. And it doesn't really just magically get better someday. Granted, everybody's different. I can't speak for the journey that you are going on, that you have to take, you know? Not everybody needs help the way I think I do. Some people are very mentally resilient. Some people know themselves very well, know what they need, know how to fix themselves, or help themselves to fix themselves, or whatever. I'm not one of those people. I thought maybe I was. I thought maybe I could be. And I don't know anymore. Don't know. Maybe admitting to these problems is a good first step to working through them. Maybe I will take this realization or actualization, self realization, whatever word, and I will, you know, take the proper steps that I think I need to fix things, to do better, to be better, to get my head in order, to get my head back on straight, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I can't be fixed. Maybe I am forever meant to be just off. Just something is different. Something is strange about me, or just something is incorrect, I think is what I said before. Something in my brain's just not wired right. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe that's the way it's meant to be. Maybe I will realize that I don't want to change that, and maybe I will learn to love myself more for the struggles that I face and the strangeness, I guess, that comes in my brain, the incorrect wiring, because I'm running out of similes and metaphors and the like. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. I wish I had answers. I wish I knew how to fix things, or I wish I knew what the right pathway to go down was. I wish I knew the right option, you know? But it's not that simple. It's never that simple. It's never that cut and dry. You never, well, I suppose you never really know until you try something, until you start something, you know? Maybe it's a mental health checkup with a psychiatrist or psychologist, or maybe it's just flat out getting myself into therapy. And maybe once I do something like that, I can realize whether or not it's the right thing to do. But sitting around in my room and trying to hope and pray away the problems isn't cutting it. It don't think it ever will. At least not for me. So, I don't know. I need help, and I'm hoping that I can muster up the strength within myself and the will and the power within myself to get said help. I do not want to be, as much as I love my parents so much, I would never blame them for my problems. I would never, ever, you know, mean any disrespect by them. But I cannot become them. I cannot become the people that raised me. I need to be better than that. I need to do better than that. I want to do better than that for the sake of myself and the future that I hope to have. I I cannot let my issues run the show here. I can't let my problems take control and take over, you know? And I'm I'm slowly, day by day, piece by piece, trying to figure out how I can do that, how I can effectively or properly do that. And I don't know. I really am not full of answers. Only questions, only ideas, only hope. I am I am full of hope that I can do something different, something right for once in my life. I'm hoping that I will figure this all out. It's It's not over till it's over. And the sad reality of life is nobody's going to save you. You just have to save yourself. So hopefully I can do that. Hopefully I can show you that it's possible, that you can do it too if you need to, you know? I don't know. But anyways, thanks for listening, watching, being here. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you should subscribe. Go watch some more videos. I've made tons of them just talking about everything and anything and everything under the sun in my life. So enjoy. Thank you again, and I love you.